Good evening and welcome to this month's edition of the School Zone. I'm your host, Brent Skanke. Tonight we begin our journey with a look at our special visit from Assistant to Secretary of Education, Patricia Klober. She came to Lincoln High School to deliver a special declaration.
First, I'd like to present this certificate to the principal, and then I would love to hear your comments or answer any of your questions. Thank you. This is a certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Lincoln High School in recognition of your ongoing effort and success in raising student achievement under the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, signed by the Secretary's Regional Representative. And we have music. One thing I did want to share with you, and then it definitely acknowledge some of the grand things you have been doing, but we have the President and Secretary, the American Competitiveness Initiative. And I especially want the students to have this also, because as you hear about the challenges of the future of our country in education, it's always interesting not to just see a long list of, well, we got this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem. It's always kind of nice to see what are some of the suggestions, the answers for these things. Now, this call to action and the global competitiveness that the President and the Secretary are working on definitely has to do with something y'all aren't nearly old enough to remember, but some of us do. And that was in 1957, the Russians sent up Sputnik. And in this little book, which I want to have, there's a picture of satellites going up. And it was basically a call to action that Americans got a little anxious about. What do you mean? Why don't we have one out there? Why aren't we doing these kinds of things? Well, in fact, now we do have, I believe, over 3,000 satellites. But that really was the beginning of some very anxious moments for those of us in education. We were a little concerned. We were doing a great job educating students, but we became a little anxious that we weren't preparing students enough in math and science. So we stepped up, and that's what we want to do. We're recognizing we must get our high school students excited about the next step. And what you have done at Lincoln High School, that you have started preparing them.
The regional representative from the Department of Education had called a few weeks ago and said they'd like to come to visit Lincoln High School. They'd heard about the good programs we'd been doing, and we'd just like to come to visit. So we gladly said, sure, come on over. And they had invited quite a number of other people to come as well. And then when she got here, basically it was saying, we really like a lot of the programs you're doing, and basically I think it was more or less a pat on the back to say programs you are doing are great, and other high schools around the nation these are the kinds of things that the Department of Education really likes to see us doing for students.
The input that the students gave at the session this morning was important and reaffirming,
Very
really,
much.
to say, the philosophy that we have in the Sioux Falls School District,
Yes.
that we're educating
Everybody. What I really liked about what the students were saying was not only obviously they'd had opportunities to be in some advanced classes and that they were doing well, but what really struck me was that almost all of them said things along the lines of, but I'm helping these other students and I'm mentoring this student, and I really appreciated the overall attitude they had and the overall warmth that they were showing to other students. That's not anything we can teach anyone, but I really appreciated that kind of caring attitude and willingness to help other students. I think while the No Child Left Behind certainly has a lot of really good things, I really believe that they have got to look at the special ed component and the ELL component, because those two groups of students, we certainly do not want to leave anybody alone and say, no, we're never going to worry about you. But we have got to do a better job, I believe, at the federal level of saying, let's look at those students individually and how are you as a school helping them progress individually rather than lumping them all together and making them hit some kind of target goal that students who've been here for 18 years are already achieving. And that's not fair, and that's the reason we have them on an individualized educational plan, for example. That's the reason they've only been in the United States for maybe 2 years. So to me, that's something that I believe she's hearing and is taking back, and I believe they're hearing that across the nation.
Next, we take a look at Roosevelt High School Marching Band. We'll talk with Director Shane Macklin and some of his students about this exciting year in marching band.
I'm Shane Macklin. I'm the Director of Bands at Roosevelt High School. And we have a very big and important season this year. We started our season back in June with what we call New People Camp. And that's a 4-day in the afternoon camp where we introduce new people, new students to our program, teach them the basics and whatnot. Then we pretty much have the summer off until we get to band camp, which is in July. We started very late July, like the last 3 days of July and then the first couple weeks of August. And during that time we learn our entire fall show. We pretty much have to have that done by the end of band camp because once we get into school we don't have very much time to rehearse. So we try to get the entire show learned in its skeletal form the first 2 weeks in August during our band camp, and then when we get into school we can work on cleaning and adding a few things here and there as we go throughout the season. This is a very big season for Roosevelt High School. We've done very well in competitions so far. We've pretty much won every competition that we've been in our class, and also a couple overall awards so far. So it looks to be a very strong band this year, very good show. Our show is called the Fire Breathers this year, and we actually have 2 dragons out on the field that some parents put together for us that are very high quality. They're Disney quality is what I call them. Fire pots out on the show where we have obviously fake fire coming up out of these bowls, and a lot of things that sort of lend to the imagery of dragons and the Dragon Quest and whatnot. Our show is about the creation of a dragon. So our opening movement's called Creation, then it goes to Life Breathes within it, and then the ritual that we have as the dragon comes to fruition and stoking the fire, which that means we're revving up the dragon and getting it ready to do what it does, breathe fire. And then our last movement in our show is called Dragon Flight, and that's the dragon up on the side of the mountain and it finally flies off into its first flight. And so that's at the end of our show. You see a huge dragon going across the field and the wings are coming out with a color guard with the dragon scale flag. So we always have a lot of parents help us with our production here at Roosevelt High School, and we really appreciate their support. Without their support, we would not be able to do what we've done. We have parents that volunteer to sew all the flags, to chaperone the trips, to build the props, to help us get on and off the field, down to providing treats every Monday night after rehearsal. So plus their support in the stands has been tremendous. We're going to St. Louis this year to the BOA Super Regional. This will be our 3rd time down there, and we've placed as high as 6th place. They usually have over 50 some bands from about 13, 14 different states there. So it really is a super regional. And this year we decided to take the next step, which we will become the first band in South Dakota history to participate in the Bands of America Grand National Championships. which means that we go to Indianapolis in early November, and we're hoping that the weather holds out for us. Early November, and we compete against over 100 bands from all over the country. And our goal this year, other than putting on a great show, is to hopefully make semifinals there, which would be the top. It's about, depends on the year, but it's top 27 to top 30 bands in the country, and that's where we're going as a newbie from South Dakota. It might be hard, but we're going to give it our best shot and see if we can get up into the top 30. So very, very big season for us. I'm confident that the band is going to do really well in St. Louis, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for nationals. I think they are going to do very well there too.
I'm Peter Graff, and I am a senior here at Roosevelt, and I'm on the drum line, and I'm the section leader this year. We started way back in March, the end of March, starting with the drumline camps, and we've had about 4 of those during the spring, and then we have band camp during the season, summer, and we've been doing our band season for the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks now. We've had 3 competitions so far, and we have a couple more to go. We're going to Grand Nationals this year, which every year we go and watch and just admire the big bands that are there. It's like this big shebang at the end of the year. And this year we're actually honored with going, actually. And this is the first South Dakota band that's going to Grand Nationals, and hopefully we can represent Roosevelt and South Dakota in a positive fashion. Something like that.
What's the hardest thing about marching band season?
Probably just getting up in the morning. I mean, once you're up, it'll help you wake up for the day, but yeah, it's kind of grueling getting up in those early hours, usually 6 o'clock or earlier, or if you're a girl, earlier to get the makeup on and be ready for school. Probably the endurance too. It's a lot of work.
Now you guys also start early in the summer with your practice, is that correct?
Right, we started the first week of June, so we started.
So you're doing a lot of practicing. How many hours do you think you put in? Do you have any idea?
No idea. I tried to calculate it one year, but there's just too many to figure.
And what's the hardest thing about being in the percussion?
I don't know, probably we practice a little more than the band and more than everyone else, so probably just the extra practices that we put in.
Marching bands, it's a sport. It's what it is. It's a great sport. I love it. I have a drive to do it, and you know, even though you have to get up in the morning and push yourself harder and harder every day, it really pays off in the end. And it's a time where you can come together with all the other classmates and really put on a show and sell it to the crowd, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to sell that show to the crowd.
Can you tell us a little bit about this year's show and what it all...
This year's show is very exciting. It's the best show that I've had ever. I'm senior this year, and I love the show that I get to go out on. It's all about dragons and the creation of a dragon, and its final flight. And it's very exciting. We got some high points. We got some, very intense points, and it's really a show that'll put you back in your seat.
Now, do you play any solos during this?
Yeah, I actually do. Me and 3 other people play a quartet, and that's during the end of our show.
What's the toughest part about this show?
Definitely just pushing the sound all the way through the show. I mean, it's not a very long show, but definitely keeping the energy and the drive going until the very end and pushing all the way straight through is definitely a hard part during it.
Can you give me an idea how long it probably took you to get the maneuvers around?
Oh, it's still not perfect. I mean, we started in July, end of July, and went till now for like 8 hours a day in the summer, 8 hours a week in the school year, and it's still not to the, it'll never be to the point to where we want it, but it's gotten so much better and so refined that every little mistake is a big mistake. And right now it's we're getting it pretty good.
So what's the best part about doing this?
The best part about doing this is definitely just selling the show and putting it out there for the audience and really just giving them something that they're gonna remember forever.
Hi, my name is Erica Peterson. I'm a senior and I'm a flute. I'm a section leader. And the season, it's really intense this year since we're going to Grand Nationals, so we're working extra hard. And we're more dedicated this year than ever because we know that it's the biggest high school competition ever, so we're all working really hard. And it's a really good show too. It's called The Fire Breathers, and it's all about dragons. And we have huge props we have a big gate, and we have dragons, and we have fire pots, and it's just a really cool show. I'm really excited about it.
And what's the hardest thing for you when you're marching out there?
The hardest thing is keeping your feet in time. I mean, you have to think about so much. I think that's the part. You have your music, you have your marching, you have to keep in form, you have to watch the drum major. I mean, there's just so much going on. It's a lot. But
Can you tell us a little bit about the competition and how you gear up for that?
We have a special thing we do at Roosevelt where we all hold hands before the performance to kind of get us pumped up and ready to focus in on our show. And then Mr. Macklin talks about how we should pretend that we're holding hands while we're marching, so we're like one unit and we're all working together instead of 130 individuals.
And the judges, what are they looking for?
They're looking for, staying in form, staying in step, your body carriage, and just the form itself and how it moves, and the music. There's a lot of different judges.
The Artist in Residence program brings unique opportunities to our schools. Tonight we look at dance program at John Harris Elementary.
My name is Robin Starks Holcomb, and I'm from Sioux Falls. I've been spending a month at John Harris Elementary, started September 11th, in 4 consecutive weeks. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've been teaching the kids some dance moves and some physical activity that corresponds with their music curriculum, their PE curriculum, arts in general. It's been a very positive experience. The kids get excited, they're energetic, they're enthusiastic, and I hear from the teachers that they look forward to it and that it's even changed their attitudes as far as singing out in the music room. It gives them another idea of how to exercise and stay healthy. We kind of hit home all of those ideas. We taught a different activity to each of the grade levels, kindergarten up through 5th. When we start out at kindergarten levels, it's really about teaching them some basic steps and just kind of using that muscle memory, repetition, doing things over and over so their muscles get the feel of what's going on and how to do what they're doing. I would say we probably did that with kindergarten, 1st grade. 2nd grade, we started really using some complex thinking skills. They had a lot to remember, a lot of different actions, motions, different ideas, concepts. They had to leave their lines and create new formations, go back. So they had a real challenge, but met that challenge very easily. They were so good. 3rd, 4th, 5th, it was kind of the goal with them to do things that were popular at where they're at in their 4th, 5th grade popular culture, things that they thought were cool, still high energy, lots of activity and enthusiasm from them, things that they could bring across, show their creative side, and feel good about it.
Joe Foss School was recently named the Outstanding Youth Program for the 2006 by the Department of Labor. Principal Dave Yotes will tell us about the award. Teacher Darlene Runyon will tell us about a partnership award.
Hi, I'm Dave Yost. I'm the administrator of the at-risk and alternative programs here in Sioux Falls. Many of you may know of me as the principal at Joe Foss School. We're celebrating quite an achievement at Joe Foss School. The Department of Labor and the Workforce Investment Council, who provide funding for us, have just named Joe Foss School as the Outstanding Youth Program in the state of South Dakota for 2006. That's a major accomplishment for us, and it speaks very highly of the accomplishments of not only the staff and the Joe Foss program, but even moreover of our students. The fact that over 100 students were able to graduate last year as they were the year before, and the high number of credits that have been earned here speaks well of the fortitude of the young people that come here to work. It's not easy to get a high school education. If it was, all students would do it. And the students that come here have some particular struggles and have been able to be successful. And for that, we've been recognized, and we're very proud of the distinction, of the honor. And our students, our staff, and the entire Sioux Falls School District should share in that honor.
I'm Darlene Runyon. I have been working here at Joe Foss for 8 years. Actually, the customer service program, the part that we got our partnership award on, we have been doing for several years. But Southeast Tech was willing to take up this partnership when we had to change the place that we were doing this. And Lon and I worked together a lot last year to try to put this together last spring. Our students are students that we feel are going to be successful at a post-secondary setting. And between Sally Monroe, our counselor, and myself, and the staff has always been very wonderful to help us figure out which students we think will be good candidates to go over there. We choose this group and ask them if they want to do this, and they will get 6 elective credits over at Southeast Tech, 3 in computers and 3 in an elective English class. Here they get 3 half credits. They get one for those 2 classes. They each get a half credit, plus they also get a certificate for customer service. And this is really where the whole program got started, because this is something that is so needed in Sioux Falls. We have so many call centers that this training that they get on this customer service really works out wonderful for them to have that little bit of an edge for them to be hired by these different call centers. And they have also been very good, the call centers, to have students be able to do some job shadow experience over there. So anyhow, the 3 half credits that they pick up over at Joe Foss are elective credits, and it works toward their graduation. But one of the biggest things that I see, well, there's 2. They obviously get their credit, which is wonderful, but I see such a change in their personalities when they come back. It seems like they just grow, and they really mature. It's a neat program.
Young people today are not going to be able to survive in the world that's out there in the future without a high school education. There's just so many factors today that point to that need. High school education, any education, is going to be the ladder out of the rut in which they find themselves. So come and see us at Foss. Let us try to find a way that you can graduate from high school. We're extremely flexible. We'll work with you, determine your status in your home school. Do you need a referral from them? Exactly what needs to happen in your life for you to be successful. We'll provide opportunities, and then you simply need to be willing to take advantage of that. If you're willing to show up, if you're willing to try, you can be successful for the rest of your life.
Terry Redline Elementary has started a new reading program this year. Special guests are invited to read to students during their lunchtime. Let's see who the special guest is this week.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a book with you. I understand that Senator Johnson was here a while back, and you read a book called House Mouse, Senate Mouse.
Yeah.
Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
Well, that's the book I normally read too, but I figured you wouldn't want to hear that book again or see that book again, so I brought a different book along that we'll read together. It's called Honest Abe. How many of you guys have ever heard of Abraham Lincoln? Okay, somebody tell me who he was. Who was Abraham Lincoln?
A president.
A president. Terrific. Very good. And does anybody know, like, when he was president? During what period? Can somebody answer that? Yes.
The 16th president.
That's very good. He was the 16th president. Excellent. Very good. Can you tell me what was going on in the country when he was the president? Anybody tell me that? Yes.
Lies.
Lies? Okay. Well, there may be some of that too, but yes.
Bad people.
Bad people. There were some bad people. Yes, ma'am.
There's bad things going around.
There were some bad things going around.
Oh, I know so.
Do any of you know what you ever heard of something called the Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what was going on during President Lincoln's time as the president. The war ended after more than 4 years. The Civil War that I was talking about, where the North fought the South over the issue of slavery, took 4 years before that war ended. Abraham Lincoln said when it ended, "I've never been so happy in my life." 5 days later, President and Mrs. Lincoln went to the theater. As they watched a play, a man who was furious at the president for freeing the slaves crept up behind him and shot him in the head. The bullet went right into his brain. President Lincoln remained unconscious through the night, and in the morning he died. Thanks, guys, very much. It's great to be with you. Keep studying hard.
My name is Sharon Olson. I teach second grade at Terry Redline Elementary School. And Mrs. Tweed is one of my co-teachers, and we've taught together for a number of years. And we tried kicking around some ideas of what we could do to help our students enjoy reading more. And we found a grant that we were awarded. And with that grant, we were able to buy lots of books and other materials. And we started a reading club. It's called the Thursday Literacy Club. Okay? And we meet on Thursdays, obviously, and we meet during the lunchtime. And we chose the lunchtime because of transportation problems with the children. They were already here. We didn't have to worry about how they're going to get home at night, anything like that. And our readers are invited to come at 11 o'clock to read to our students. While the children are eating, the reader reads the story. When the reader is finished, the children have activities they go to. And there are various activities that involve reading, spelling, and the language arts. If the reader cannot make it at 11 o'clock, we will accommodate them, and we've said so in our letter that we are very flexible, and if they can't come at 11 o'clock, we will accommodate them to whatever time they can come.
Hi, my name is Gretchen Tweet. I teach second grade at Terry Redland, and I am a part of the Thursday Literacy Club that we have started here. Mrs. Olson and I have started. After we have our guest reader read a book to the children, then we go into 5 different centers. 2 of the centers are the listening station. We have 2 of the stations that they do their spelling words, and then we have 1 station where they partner read or read by themselves. Then each week we switch the stations, and so each child gets to each center. We have also gotten some games through this grant, and we will be teaching them all different kinds of games. I just think this is a good program. The children have decided that they are taking their lunchtime and their recess time to come and become better readers, and they're excited about all the guests that we have that have been coming, and they're very excited.
That's all for tonight's journey into the school zone. Join us the 4th Monday of each month for a new edition of the School Zone. Good night.